blessings. Thank you for today. Thank you for the work that you can do here as a commission. Lord, just bless this conversation, just bless this fellowship, bless us all as we leave here today. And that's all in your son's precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All of you should have received the minutes sent out by Commissioner Perry yesterday?
Early this morning.
Okay, early this morning.
Early this morning.
And I'll call upon you. I know Commissioner Perry has.
I've got one correction we need to make in there.
Anybody else have any edits or concerns with the minutes?
We did not receive the minutes.
You did not? Okay.
I will get you a copy.
Do you have anything in one printed?
I got one copy, yeah.
I've got one. You can have
Yeah.
mine.
I just like to look
I did
over
read
it.
them earlier.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nobody else does. Pete, you've got a.
Yeah, before we do any others, on page 6, I put a chart in there that we had from last meeting about the projects where there was over expenditures, and I'm going to say the Kitten City owed this much back to the fund. There's a calculation mistake, because in doing that, I took out 2 columns that had calculations on them. And so the motion should read, I think right now it says the motion is for $379,000 some odd dollars like that on page 6. It should read $304,751.08. That's because the number on Smith Creek, which is the first one on there, is wrong. It should be $173,000. Come up with that. I will send a revised copy of that, but I would, from the ones I sent out early this morning, that change needs to be made. It's a $304,000, not a $370-something.
I make a motion to approve with that change.
I have a second?
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Passed unanimously. Next to the financial report. And who is giving?
Yeah. Did we just lose? Are they still there?
They're still there. Lewis and Fidelis.
Let me get for the record, we got Lewis Wright, Fidelis, Mel Dante, and Jonathan Lee.
Yes.
Yes.
Audio, so that's recorded there, so thank you.
Yes.
The only part I can contribute to the financial right now is following last month's meeting, we took the obligations. And for anybody that wasn't here last month, that'd like a copy, we got copies passed out last month showing the obligation balance and all the other stuff. Having made the changes that we de-obligated some 16 projects. And we did approve money for Martin Luther King Drive Bridge and approved money for Woodrow Wilson. That's been added. Right now, the amount of obligations on the Fund 173 is $161 million. So we picked up the $5 million worth of, $5.5 million worth of de-obligation. The other stuff we did with the 5 projects that owed money, that doesn't change the obligations. Well, actually it does, because I went in there and raised the obligation to say, okay, that's how much we spent, so we're obligated even if it's owed back. So that $304,000 is reflected as being a newly obligated amount too. So it's $161 million. There are still several projects of the old ones that I think we'll be able to deal with pretty soon. They'll probably result in another $4 to $5 million worth of de-obligations. And then you got the only other ones that have serious overruns on it is the Tiger line, the Tiger projects, which are going to be seriously overruns. But there'll probably be another $5 million worth of de-obligations once we get through. So most of it will come from still old projects since the change to Munis and some other changes. We're a lot closer in the cost that we approved and what we expended on the stuff since about 2021 forward, just because of the change how we were dealing with it. hopefully we'll have that next month or so.
Whereabouts are we on available funds for new projects? Is that-
By my calculation, looking at what we had the last month, Caldwell reported that we collected $2.5 million. I think collected now, we ought to have collected plus interest of about $175 million.
Okay.
That's just a close guess, 176.9. We've obligated 161.
Okay.
So 15 million there. Plus, we got the $5 million in the bond fund that we need to spend.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't talk about how much money is in the bank because there've been some things charged that were not obligated. There's some things, the Tiger grants, and there's about $500,000 worth of projects, worth of charges that have been made to the county that have nothing to do with 1% projects that we still need to get cleaned up. You know, there's some for the 48-inch water line over here, there's some for the walking trail, just for different reasons got charged.
Some
It
equipment
does-
purchases too.
what?
Weren't there some equipment purchases in there?
Yeah, I mean, there's some some minor things we gotta deal with there, so it doesn't reflect with how much money is in the bank, but if you're looking at what we've collected, what we've approved spending, there's about $15 million available at that point.
Do we have any further financial update from the city?
Yes, Jillian Caldwell, CFO. For the month of December, we had revenues that amounted to $1,283,610.07, and our payments to vendors totaled $2,028,115.76.
And we did I got an updated list of expenditures through the end of December. You know, if everybody else wants it, we'll share that. The city is supposed to supply that to the commission. I got a copy of it when we asked for it the other day. If anybody else wants to see it, you're welcome to have it, but I don't know if anybody, just goes, they'll be reflected in all those other reports. Okay.
I'd like to ask, are we going to receive, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, well, and that's my question, I guess, as we just not coming. So we need to provide that in paper form, I guess, not how we've been providing.
I would email it. I don't know
Okay,
that- I don't know
so we can just email.
Yeah, I was going to ask
I don't
how we're
think-
going to receive it.
I don't think there's any need in paper form
Okay.
here,
Okay,
unless somebody wants it, but I,
okay, and how, because it is sort of different from what Fidelis used to provide, is that the way, look?
that
is
format's easier.
That is easier, okay, so I will provide that each month then.
Thank
We
you.
need to
Okay.
we need to get back, there's some, and I don't know what it's gonna take, and I know y'all are working to change a lot of processes. The way they identify the expenditure to a project still has a lot of them open-ended, it just has an invoice number or something.
Okay.
I've got a list on that one that you just sent me saying, here's someone needs to, you know, either when they input it, if they would go ahead and identify the specific project, or else it's gonna be constantly coming back and say, how about chasing this one down for me?
So we need to put the project name next to
Yeah.
the expense.
So, well, most of the time it does say it. It says street resurfacing, or it says Beasley Road. But sometimes it says Beasley Road, and we've got 3 different projects on Beasley Road. We're paving one, we're putting a bridge on one, so the defining of it,
Like the phase? of
yeah,
which-
yeah.
Okay.
But if it just says the invoice number or contract number, it doesn't tell anything. Sometimes you can guess based on who the vendor was, but sometimes, I mean, Neil Schaefer's getting paid for 3 or 4 different projects, we don't know which one it is.
Okay,
Okay.
we definitely handle it.
Yeah, thank you, appreciate the help.
Thank you. Any questions, further discussion on financials? If not, we can move on to project updates. And the bid status on MLK and Monument Street bridges.
You can give it. Okay. We're gonna advertise tomorrow. Bids are expected February the 23rd.
That's on MLK.
Yes. And it's, the estimate is $1.2 million. I can forward that estimate to you by email.
That's good, I think just the number.
Okay, this is $1.2 million, so
I've got it now, he's,
And bids are due when?
February the 23rd.
23rd.
I'll make sure.
I did not realize Monument Street had already been bid. Were you aware of that?
Yes.
But it was an overrun, they were rebidding it, I believe, was what I was
That's
told.
correct, Karen? It was an overrun from the estimate?
Monument Street.
Oh, yeah, it was above 10%.
So we have to rebid, right?
Yes.
Right.
I just got an email back from Elmore telling me that, but it's okay. I didn't know it was that far along, okay.
And then moving on to Woodrow Wilson 2.
We are, by the day, trying to get permission to advertise. Southern Consultants, they're complete with the 100% with the plans, PS&E assembly. They've turned that in. I think MDOT had some questions. We had a couple forms, right-of-way forms. They got approved yesterday, I believe. So right now, we're a couple days for getting permission to advertise. And so we're looking good on meeting the deadline from the NPO and making that happen.
Any questions on Woodrow Wilson?
Have they given an estimate on on this new design? Or do you know?
I do.
I'm sure they have, but I
I'm
don't know.
going off of memory now.
Okay.
I know it was like half of like 2.7 because we took all the sidewalks out, and I think it was 2.7. I have the
Yeah,
number.
they took some sidewalks out and took out some milling and something, I don't know what it was on the west end of it.
The parabolic curve.
Yeah,
curve.
yeah.
So
But, I mean, they would have to give an estimate to MDOT, but I just didn't know if it, we're gonna have to live with whatever it is.
yes, sir.
Any further discussion? None? We'll go to neighborhood streets, 1B and 1C. Chad?
There's really not a whole lot hasn't really happened since our last meeting. Really, 1C, no real work was done in the month of December, and 1B, they had curb and gutter work and driveway work, but like I said, there wasn't a whole lot going on. Between the holidays and the weather, they just didn't get a lot done.
That area down there, just south of Jackson State, that big neighborhood,
Yes.
close to Battlefield. I saw that there's an awful lot of curb and gutter had to be replaced down there, a lot more. Was that still within where, when you first looked at it, you thought it was gonna be?
Yeah, the
It looked like Bellhaven as far as just gotta replace damn near everything in there.
Yeah, going into it, had anticipated
Okay.
that, and so we're.
So that's still within this?
More or less, yes.
Yeah, I just was shocked at how much it was.
Yeah.
But it's reflective, it's in, with this bad soil, and it's real old,
Yep.
which is Bellhaven.
Yes, and some of the places were similar to Bellhaven in that there were a lot of overlays through the years, and it had just gotten way above the
Yeah.
curve. And so
Yeah.
that was some of it as
But
well.
we're still, okay, yes, okay.
Yeah.
Good. Taking it easy on Chad again.
It's good. Like I said,
What do you think they'll be, when do you think they'll be going back? Because I get that question, I mean, I know it's winter time,
Yeah.
what are the,
Temps are coming back up, plants are back open. I know they're doing some paving for us.
they were
But-
supposed to, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, go ahead.
No, that's it. I mean, just, they, at some point, next
Yeah.
couple of weeks, they should be back at it full.
They had planned on doing some work today, paving today on 1C, or not, on 1B. They were actually milling down in Carriage Hills. I think they're supposed to start milling today. But with the, I don't know with the rain, I'm not sure if they actually did anything or not. I think it may have rained a little more than fall. So they are back working, but just for whatever reason, 1C just, they just didn't. Although 1C is a good bit farther along than 1B is, so, yeah, it's kind of understandable.
Any other questions for Chad?
Thanks, sir.
Easy enough, thank you.
Thanks.
I need to talk to you about this there was some confusion over the street in there. It's the one across from Highland Village, across Ocampo Road,
Yes.
Highland Village, where you thought, we were talking about the one that's on the south side, that's within a closed gate that's been repaved, and the other one's north, I was supposed to be. Are we okay with that north one being in there?
It has not been added. It,
It was supposed to be added in that changeover, but if we put the wrong street name, that's what I want to know. If having the wrong street name of having the one on the south side that's within the gate, the intent was to add the one on the north side.
Yes,
So do we need to take an action to add that?
yeah, I think officially,
I noticed they had not done, right across from coming out, crossing Old Canton Road, going across the street into the street with a side street. So we need to,
what, and I don't remember, yeah, I think technically, yeah, to have some work done, that street needs to be named in the contract.
well, do we need to, I hadn't looked to see what's named in there because it's, do we need to unname the other street if it was named? I mean, you called me one day and said, hey, that street's been paved.
Yes.
We need to just replace one to the other.
Yes.
We need to, okay, yeah, we need to take out that one and add this one.
I think I need to look back at the change order at the verb.
Would you look at that?
Yes.
That's next month. It's just-
Yeah, well, if they're working and doing concrete work, yeah, does it hurt if we wait till next month to take care of cleaning that up?
I don't think so.
Okay, but if you'll look and see what we need to do, because the intent was to add that
Yes.
and not add the one that's inside the private gate.
Was it Highland Place, the one that's not gated? Am I remembering
I
that?
believe that's right.
I can't remember, it's called Kenwood or something?
Now Kenwood comes in,
Yeah, that's
Kenwood's over there just
in
east
front of
out.
Whole Foods.
Okay.
This is the next light up. I don't think there's a light right
Yeah,
now.
okay.
It's behind Whole Foods.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that one goes into that. It looks like it would be gated. I'm surprised it never gated it,
But it's not.
but it's not.
I will.
It's just a cul-de-sac.
I will note that Hippie Neil's daughter lives in that neighborhood. Not that it has anything to do with the price of eggs, we just want to make it fun.
We can replace it.
It's what?
We can replace one for the other, that makes sense.
Yeah, the intent was to have it. I think Highland Park Drive is the one we intended to have, and East Park Drive is the one that's within the gated area.
Gotcha.
And so the idea was to have Highland Park Drive in that cove that goes off of it, cul-de-sac that goes off of it.
Yes. Yeah, East Park was named, and then, yeah, Highland Park, that's right. Okay. And it looks like there's a sidewalk.
There's a little cul-de-sac that comes off of Highland Park.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's do it for right now.
If you have it, if you know what the streets are.
Highland Park's the one that's supposed to, I moved it. East Park was in the change order for 1C, that we delete East Park and replace it with Highland Park Drive and the cul-de-sac that goes off of it.
Second that.
Any further discussion? If none, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Okay.
It's unanimous. Motion passes.
All right.
There, take
I'll let
care.
you know about the truck.
Okay.
Thank you, Chad.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, Chad. I think, if I put my glasses back on, so I can't see any of this. Pete, you handling neighborhood streets phase 2?
I'm gonna handle what I was gonna recommend, because it's my recommendation. Anybody else can speak to it if they want to.
Okay.
At the last meeting, I distributed a list of a bunch of streets that's scattered all over Jackson. And we discussed them a little bit. Since then, I've got some comments from some other commissioners, questions about a couple of them, fixed a couple of things where they were just mistakes that one got left off or done, added a couple of neighborhoods. Jonathan, we added the Helms Park in there that we discussed.
Around Mount Helm.
Around Mount Helms, all that over there, which we'll talk about. So we've added about 10 miles of streets into the list that we gave last meeting. And so the list I sent out a couple of days ago is the ones that's got all those revisions to it. Commissioner Forrester looked at it earlier before we added a lot of those streets, to come up with a back of the envelope estimate of cost. Using that and realizing we added this many more streets, kind of updated that cost. I will say that on this, in general, it ought to cost a lot less than phase 1B and 1C did 1A, because there's an awful lot less concrete work to be done,
So that's curb and gutter.
curb and gutter, because partly where it is, or partly a lot of the streets don't have curb and gutter. South Jackson's are newer streets, and the dirt's not as bad, so there's not much there. You do have a couple of areas I'll show you on the map here in a minute, where there are some significant issues, but it's not nearly as bad. So the overall cost to do this, which is about 55 miles of streets, is a lot less than what we were looking at with others. If I can figure it out.
It's on the file folder.
Yeah.
Can't touch it.
What I was looking at,
You want to turn the computer around?
Yeah. Nicole. Hey, Jonathan, can y'all see that at all?
Yep.
Okay.
these maps are divided into North and South Jackson. I finally got a digital map from CMPDD. By the way, I'll say this, those in the new administration, those of us have been around a while, we've been asking to see a map for about 10 years now. We were promised by IMS we were going to have them, we were promised by somebody else that Charles, we were going to get them, and whoever it was, the CEO, a couple of backs, we're going to get them. We never got maps. And so,
The guy that came in from New Orleans?
no, that's Bob Miller, he was Public Works, I'm talking about. Yeah,
Outside. Yeah, you're right.
went to work for League of Cities or whatever. This map for North Jackson shows what that list deals with. It just kind of worries. There's a lot of weird stuff in here about why we're doing all these little site plans. The streets around there have been done, but when they did Pear Orchard Drive, and we did Pear Orchard Drive back in 2018, we didn't do all the little cul-de-sacs off of it. East Manor over here, same thing, when they did East Manor back in the 2016 neighborhood street program, they didn't do the cul-de-sacs, and so there's like, so the number of streets where it says 256 streets doesn't really mean we got that many. Some places it might be a 4 mile street, like Manhattan Road over here is 4 miles of it, but some places it's just little small pieces of parts. But that's the North Jackson. It takes Presidential Hills, big neighborhood, we did some in there, 1A or 1B, doing it right now. It picks up some more of it. It picks up some more in Bellhaven, which is a big one. It picks up some more over in Verdon, picks up a good bit more down here in this mid-city area, where we did some, but just added some more in there. But it also picks up areas where we got no response from neighborhood associations in the last round.
Before you jump on to this
Yeah.
one,
Yeah,
thank you for putting this.
I'm putting it
together.
up here so people can see and ask questions.
That's
the point.
awesome. So, like, my big concern always has been, is the money being spread around the city?
Well,
If you're gonna get- if you're
I'm
gonna get-
going to show you another map that'll help you see that.
Perfect. Sounds great.
Another map that'll help you see that. How do you get that? Then you come down all the
You can touch
time.
it, there you go.
I know I can touch it when it gets there, just if we get
Yeah,
out.
get it there. There you
All right.
go. Get your file folder, you know, Bob.
Thank you, sir. All right. If you-
CTO.
This shows the streets that we're doing right now, 1A and 1C in North Jackson.
Okay.
And we'll get to South
And
Jackson.
to be clear, Steve, we're talking about the ones that are highlighted in red, correct?
Correct, the ones that are highlighted in red. So from the neighborhood street that we're doing right now, or what's being proposed in North Jackson, that's combining. Now we'll get
It combines both of them.
That combines what's underway right now.
What you put up on your first map.
And what I put up, that's putting the two together.
Okay.
Now then, in North Jackson still, if you take everything that's been resurfaced in Jackson in the last 10 years, as best we can determine, a lot of this is just by driving and finding it because there's no good list of it. The blue on that map is streets that the county's done. The orange, yellow are streets that the state has paved to do. North State Street, Country Club, some others. But you'll see where we didn't do a lot of work in that other map.
It's covered by a lot.
District 2, the county did a lot of work. That was back, I think, when David Archie got along with Robert Graham and they were trying to help David Archie. The county did a lot of work with that. The county's not doing much work at all in District 2 right now. They are in District 3, but a little bit before, but not in 2. But you'll see that it picks up
A lot.
a whole lot of what was empty areas. If you put it together, there's still a few empty areas.
And your red, again, just to be clear,
The red-
your red includes what we've done and what you're proposing.
The red includes anything that's been done by the city in the last 10 years, 95% of which is 1% money.
Right.
I mean,
But this red, does
Yeah.
it include what you're proposing as
yeah,
well?
correct.
Okay, all right.
And the red includes what we did in 2016 and the major streets, what we did in 2016, the neighborhoods. We did some major streets in 18 and 19. And it includes the NPO grants, Northside Drive, Meadowbrook Road. So that's still, if it's in red, it's what the city has done with whatever funds on this map. The other maps are what our 1% is doing in the neighborhood streets.
Yeah.
But the blue is county, and it shows a lot more than what most people would think has been done in the last, at least it did to me.
That's a ton. What is this area right here, I was watching it.
Yeah.
Like, it's largely untouched.
This is the Queens.
Okay.
This is the Queens neighborhood. Now, one thing that, and I mentioned this at our last meeting,
West County?
it's past, it's off Clinton Boulevard.
Yeah.
It's north of Clinton Boulevard. This-
Lakewood.
Yeah, this is Clinton, yeah, Lakewood Cemetery is right over in here.
Yeah.
And so, in developing this list that we have today, we were looking at what the city had indicated earlier was going to be done with bond funds. But that was done by the prior administration and by the prior council. But we took, because they had a lot of streets right here
Yeah, I was gonna say the same. yeah.
being done by bond fund. In fact, practically that whole neighborhood, and some right up in here. So in making this list, we don't have that. When we see when any determination is made about what the city may be going to do with the bond funds and how they're going to develop it and what streets it's going to be, there's going to be some more things we have to look at here. But we did try to overlap that map from 2 years ago into developing this, which is not totally legitimate, but it's got some legitimacy to it. So I don't know if y'all can speak to where we are with the bond funds or not, or you don't want to leave that for a later discussion. Peter Lorenzo, if y'all want to,
Oh, we can't.
got an idea or not, I don't know.
Yeah, we in the process, we're looking to start in spring, once we finalize the list, like you all are doing now, around 15, even though it's a bond fund, it's an infrastructure fund.
Yeah.
So we're looking at storm drainage too.
Sure.
So 15 million of it is storm drains, drainage canals, and then 15 million of it is streets, where we're trying to finalize. That's why it's good to have this map, so we can, we try not to overlap CCID, the county, 1%, and not do the same thing.
If we could get, we didn't even know 2 years ago that the bond money was out there and that there's a list being made until I accidentally ran across that following the meeting, somebody mentioned it. We said, what's that? It would be nice if we could be brought into looking at what is coming out of the bond fund plans and merge the two together so that, I mean, I did talk with Kevin Parkinson, Peter, you said you had that list. He was going to share that so we could say, hey, look, if you were doing these and we're going to do them, you know, why don't we do these and let me show you some areas over here, or y'all, you know, but merging the two together needs to be done So as that list gets developed, now, if we go ahead and move with this, y'all can use that, and maybe make changes there. If y'all want to sit there, some of the council members or the administration might have some particular areas they do want to do, and we can say, hey, look, if you want to do that, there's no pride of authorship here, but there is a need to coordinate it.
Right. I think the coordination between today and the next meeting you all have, I think we can send some information over so we can make sure that it's not overlapped and, like you said, all the areas are
Yeah.
covered and
I can show you some areas too that specifically are weak. I mean, having this map might help of where to go look at. I'm sure if you're getting it from the council, they're familiar with their wards better than I am, so I'm not going to get into that. But now, I will also say that there's some areas, in particular when I get to the map, that are not included here because I wanted to see where the city was going to go with their cleanup, what's the right word for it, the
blight.
blight
Okay.
removal. Yeah, because right now, you can make the street nice, but the blight's still there, so if you know, which comes first, the blight removal of the street or how it works or where, and there's some areas that have some pretty bad streets, but it's hard to find them because the blight's piled up higher than your car is if you drive down, so, you know, that's one of the areas that we hit.
Hey, Pete,
Yes, sir.
I do have one question.
Yeah.
The question came about the Queens. I thought we did several streets in the Queens in 2015, when we did that big neighborhood repaving program with Yarba. The Queens wasn't covered in that?
I can't find any record that it was. There are a few streets over here in the Queens that were done. I don't know who did them, whether, I've got them down as the county because they didn't show up. But trying to get a list, you know, IMS never gave us that list of, they claimed they did 106 miles of streets. But we have never been able to get that. There's some records of some of them, there's some that we know of. So these right here in the Queens might have been done then by us, I don't know. Somebody did a little bit of that. We did Clint Boulevard in that. But now,
Yeah, we did. Pete, I'm almost 80%. I'm almost 80% we did streets in the Queens.
I think they were ours, but I couldn't find from the map. Now, the other thing you'll see, and it shows up over here, if you go back to just the map of what's been done by the city, what they did back there in 2016, a lot of times they did 2 blocks of a street here, and then
That is true.
5 blocks over there.
That being a problem.
It is
Yeah.
scattered. It was probably the worst management of a project I've seen done, and I don't know why it went that way, but there's just spots, and there was no coordination with anything. You know, I can show different areas where, okay, that one little section is done, and that's because it's the 2016. Riding through the Queens, Jonathan, there are not many streets over there that appear to have been paved in the last 10 years. And that's been my basis, if you're driving through, looking at the street and saying, what's this condition and how old does it look to be? But
I would thoroughly agree. I mean, it has been 10 years. If we did it in the time frame, I think we did it, it's been 10 years.
But 10 years ago was when that neighborhood street program, Orange Cone 1, if you remember, it's called.
I remember, I was.
2016 through 2018. So,
I'm not saying they don't need streets done there.
Yeah.
I just thought we had captured that. And just because I'm here in my office, the area just above your hand there, to the right. Yeah, look, is that done mostly below that red area? There seems like there's several streets in there that's dry. Yeah, to the right.
Wait.
Right in there. Yeah.
let me
Because I know downtown.
that area that you're just pointing at is down around Provine.
Okay.
Yeah, get that for me. The area I think you're talking about, this is Hemingway Circle right here. This is
Okay, and that's on the list now. Okay.
This is Provine right there. You see this area right in here, which is down around, what's the middle school across from Provine? You know, that's all been done by the county because who used to live there? Fidel Calhoun.
Friedel Calhoun.
And so that's why all that blue is right in that area. Now, this area right here, which is kind of behind Provine, was what was looking at being done under the bond money.
Yes, okay.
This is Capitol Street right there. This is Robinson Road right there, so it's that area between Capitol and Robinson Road.
Okay.
Now then, same thing on the south side. What you'll find, was shocking to me, was how much wide open area there is with nothing in it, South Jackson. I mean, just big areas. There's a 2-mile lake right here.
Yeah, it's just so much land.
Lake Catherine down there, there's nothing around it. It's a beautiful little area, but there's no streets down there. All right, that's what's on the list that's in front of you today. If you combine that with what we did before, that's it. You'll still see there were no neighborhood association. This neighborhood association, that's Lost Lake, where we just did a lake, they did give a response to our survey, but it was down there all by itself and isolated, so we didn't include it. We just said we would get it in the next round of things to do. This is Elton Road that the county has given us, I mean, the state has given us $600,000 to include. Everything from here below was what we approved September, October, and approved $3 million for. This is McClure Road right here. And so all that was done in October. So $3 million is already in the obligation amount, which is going to be $3.5 million, I believe it is, which is plenty enough to do that amount of road. So in the end, I was going to suggest that we just merge the two lists together and just call it phase 2 instead of 2A and 2B. But it's the same thing. We did a little bit right in there. We did a little bit right in there. We did a little bit right over in here. I mean,
You said there's no association in these neighborhoods largely?
no, I said we didn't get any response from them.
Not association, okay, gotcha.
I don't know if they're associations there or not. But the,
That's a really good point.
yeah, it really is. And a lot of abandoned area.
I forgot about that, you're right, it's not even known that people over here.
And here you get- up there for me. This, yeah,
Can I ask a question?
you can ask any question you want.
I've got
I promise an
Councilwoman,
answer.
I've got Councilwoman Brown Thomas here with me.
Yeah.
She asked me a question I can't answer.
Okay.
When you sent those surveys out in South Jackson, were those given to the previous council person to share with the homeowners association? Were they sent directly to homeowners associations? How did y'all do that?
We didn't do it. We said do it, and the city did it.
That's all you need to tell us. We
The
got it.
mayor's office sent it. They sent it, we were told, to the associations that were registered with the city. There were 92 of them that they said they sent back. We got responses from like 61. About 9 months after we got the responses, we were able to finally get them. We finally just ended up meeting among ourselves because we never got this group together in a special meeting like we're going to. But the city, Dr. Omari had them sent out by somebody upstairs. I don't know who sent them or who they sent them to.
All right.
Is that,
Can I speak?
yeah.
You remember, I wasn't a council person
Yeah.
during that time, but those surveys were sent out. The neighborhoods did not follow up on those surveys.
A lot of them did.
Yeah, because we followed up on it, so
Yeah,
it
so-
wasn't the city.
Some neighborhood groups sent back 3. They said, she's no longer the president, I am now.
Right.
And so we had to
Right.
deal
So
with
they did
some
go
neighborhood
on.
association fights. But they sent 92, there were 61 responses that came back. I mean, I know the lady over at Eastover, they didn't send one back because they just felt like it was not something they wanted to mess with. So some did, some chose not to respond, some responded to multiple answers.
And hey, Commissioner Barrett, I'll add some additional color to that. I do believe the record will reflect, I made sure it was in the minutes, that we had suggested, at least I had suggested, to the city that they include circulating the list amongst the council people, but the mayor declined to do that as a matter of process. He wanted his office to be responsible specifically for that particular project. So that can be found in the minutes. So
That is
the council
true.
was left out of it as an official, I guess, submitter of projects.
We promoted the idea from the commission, and everybody liked it, including the mayor's office. We drafted a survey, they chose not to use the one we drafted, they drafted their own, and they controlled the sending of it. And I know, Ms. Clay, you worked on the council at the time, but they wanted it controlled in their office. So we didn't do it. We finally took them and said, we're going to deal with it because nothing's going on with it.
Yep.
All right, this map's the same thing as the other. It shows everything we've done in red, everything the county's done. This is Raymond Road. It's just recently been done by state aid. This is Highway 18. It's Robinson Road. By the way, the county just got $20 million to redo Robinson Road. Have you not seen that? Safe Streets program or something. The county got an MPO project for Robinson Road from Lynn Street back to Capitol Street.
Okay.
Back 2020-ish. They got MPO funding. They were supposed to put up $1.5 million. They didn't have it at $500,000. They came to us. We put up $1,085,000. So between us and the county, it's like $1.5 million, and they got a couple of million, $2.5 million from MPO that redid Robinson Road, resurfacing it back. It was done by the county. We just gave the county $1 million for it. But they got $20 million. I don't know what all it includes, but it's for Robinson Road. We were talking earlier about the main streets up in North Jackson, Ridgewood, Old Canton not being done. What you have in South Jackson is Forest Hill, Terry Road, and McClure. McClure's in pretty bad shape. And parts of Forest Hill are in pretty bad shape. You know, I'm hoping maybe that's where some bond money is going. I don't know. We've got to see what they're doing. Depending on between the bond money and our money, somewhere or another, there's some of those. McClure probably could wait until after we would get the bridge replaced over there later this year. And Henderson Road, by the way, which right here goes from McClure South and it goes into Byram. The city of Byram has paved it from here down to Sidewell. This part is shared between the Jackson and Byram and this mile up there. I've had a brief conversation, I was going to have a deeper one. This is just friend among friends with my friend, former Senator, now Mayor Richard White, about if they would split that cost and we would pay for all this and we'd split that cost because they've already paid from there down. It would make Henderson, which is a good north-south thing to go. I think right now in the era of goodwill that people exist today is the time we might can get Byram to do that. But that shows kind of what's been done. Talking about the streets we did 10 years ago, some of them, like Ridgewood Road up north, they're in bad shape still. They were done 10 years ago. Some of them are lasting real good. We did Henderson, we did Rainy Road 2018, we did Lakeshore in 2017 or 18. They both look like they could have been done a year ago. I mean, they're still in great shape. You got better soil conditions and less traffic, so you get a little bit of different things between what's going on with it. But my idea was if you could see kind of how everything fit together, where it works. Yes, there's still some deserts, and there's still some areas where there's a lot of work, but there's still a lot left that needs to be done in there.
So Lorenzo, do you talk about from this meeting to the next meeting, the bond money, will y'all have a pretty solid plan by the time we meet next month?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, again, like you just said, there's a big chunk here, you got Queens, that neighborhood, I just want to make sure that everyone's feeling it, you know?
And the other thing we tried, there's one more issue I want to talk about here before we get through with it. But the other thing, the tip was to do here was, in some places, get through with it and get out.
Yeah, you've said that in your.
Yeah, that's what we did.
Finish it.
We did half of this one in 2018. This is just a little bit.
These are the roads, I guess, it's not coming out.
That's Brooklyn Country Club. Yeah, we did that, and this was done, but it's finishing it out. Same thing here. It's trying to get, there's one I want to talk about right over in here. That if we did it, or the county did it 4 or 5 years ago, and the rest of it still has some bad streets, go ahead and get the rest of it, and then we don't, during the time this commission dies in 2035 unless it's extended, you know, we won't have to deal with it again, because 10 years, they'll get us out of that neighborhood. This little neighborhood, this Northwest Hills, it's right up in here. It's off Northside Drive, just across McGovers. The county did those 2 outside streets, but the inside streets aren't. They're not in bad shape. Ms. Clay, I think they're in your board.
Those are Gazelle.
Those are good, okay. But, you know, they're not in bad shape. But they're not in good shape, but we can go in there and do $150,000 worth of work and be out of there and be through with it. So that's kind of their part of it. Overall, with what's in this proposal that we talk about now is, except for about 3 areas, it's not bad. This area right here, which is Lake of the Pines, there's some serious base repair work and some big serious gutter work there. The county redid this street right there that's still in here with this one.
What area is this?
Lake of Pines.
Okay.
It's, this is Lake Hyco right here, so it's just north of Lake Hyco there off of Watkins.
Okay.
Right.
But even what they did 10 years ago still looks like volcanic driving around it. So, and now, whether it was because they did a bad job in the first developing that area, or whether the conditions are so bad, I don't know. But that area, this Bellhaven area, and a little bit down here in the mid-city area, is where you got concrete work. The rest of it isn't too bad. Because this and this is all newer. Same, in South Jackson, it's all newer. You know, this area is 70 years old and bad dirt work. So, and that's where a lot of our 1A and 1C money went, which made it cost a lot more money. Now then, taking all that, there's one change I want to. All right, I had to get out of this technician, there it is. Oh.
Be quick.
There's one area down in South Jackson, down in the Cedar Hills, Willowwood area, that I had included on this list. This is Highway 18, this is Willowwood back down in here. This is Carriage Hills where Chad said they're fixing to start paving, it's that area right there. We had in this proposal, this stuff in blue. This right there was done 8 or 9 years ago. This that's in yellow is different in this map. It was my intent that from here to that curve was going to be in 1B. Chad and talked to me on the phone, said, how far are we talking on that road? I said, to the curve. And this road from here all the way around here is called the same thing. So he started here and went to the curve. I was starting here and went to the curve. Either way, half of this, well actually 2/3 of it, is in 1B right now. They've already done concrete work. What's in this proposal was to include this little corner of Willowwood. We did this back in 2018 or so. Include that little area and that street. and get out of that neighborhood. So instead of including that Cedar Hills and Willowwood that's on your list, I'm gonna make a recommendation that we make a change order to 1B and add this section into 1B. Since they're fixing to pave right there, let them go ahead and do all of it while they're in the area. I think it would be a cheaper way to get it done. When I looked at our map, I said, we're talking about this, and they hadn't done the paving yet, they've done the concrete work down there. Not a whole lot of concrete work to be done there. So, to clean up this yellow part and knock out that red part, that was gonna be a separate motion, not included with that list, even though it's on the list that you're showing right there. And make it a change order to 1B and get that done there.
What are we talking?
This, what's in red is about 2 miles, 1.8 miles roughly. Chad's estimate on that was $700,000. Paul, when he was looking at the other list, was working out about $250,000 a mile, $240,000 a mile. So we're talking about somewhere between $500,000 and $750,000 to do that. Now, we're talking about the same amount, whether we do it as a new phase 2, or whether we're talking about it as a change order. But if we're gonna do it, if they're doing this little area down there now, they're looking, working that area, this will be a good time to go
They're
ahead and get it
positioned down
done.
there now.
But
They're about to be.
They're about to be.
on this section, not, they weren't, I don't know if they're gonna go across the street or not.
I don't know where you're pointing.
All right, this is what you see in Carriage
Yeah,
Hills.
here's their building right now.
Okay, but you see, it's just across
Yeah,
Raymond
that's
Road.
right. It's right there, yes.
Than the other. And so, Willowwood is one of those really big neighborhoods too, with lots and lots of streets.
Huge.
The county's done some, we've done some, and there's still some more to do. But part of this is pretty bad, part of it's, like everything else, part's bad, and part of it's not bad. But that was gonna be coming off of that list as a separate item and putting it on 1B.
You want to go ahead and make that motion? I'll second it.
All right, I move that we take the streets listed here on Willowwood and Cedar Hills, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11 streets, including cul-de-sacs and whatever, and make it as a change order to contract 1B and add $750,000 to 1B.
I'll second that.
So wait, question.
Yeah.
Pete, so the piece that you just reviewed, like the whole Lake of Pines piece,
Yeah.
so that you suggested needed to be redone, do we need to also adopt that?
Well, that was gonna be a different motion. My motion was gonna be, unless somebody wants to make a different one, that we take this 256 list of streets here, approve them as part of phase 2, and obligate $13 million. I'm just separating these.
Yeah, I think, Jonathan, did I answer your question on that? Yeah, I have a, go ahead.
So just so I'm clear, so your motion is for that piece, that one piece, Cedar Hills and South Jackson, but Pete was making suggestions as he goes along, so do we need to have one motion that captures all of these?
No, it needs to be two separate motions. This motion is to add it to 1B. The other motion would be to create
Totally new option.
a new contract, because we really can't, we couldn't add a $13 million change order to 1B or 1C.
Okay, but we agree that all of the things that you are reviewing, we want to address, it's just a matter of.
There'll be a separate motion, yeah.
Okay, I got it. Okay, I'm ready.
I would like, if the city's got any input into any of this, Lorenzo, Peter, if y'all, I'll even listen to council members if they want to say something. Even though we normally don't invite council members to speak, I'd be willing.
All right, let's do it.
Well, gentlemen, let me say this on behalf of the council members who are here, Councilwoman Clay and Councilwoman Brown Thomas, as well as Councilman Stokes, who y'all listened to last week. Thank you for allowing us to invite the council members to come and attend. And again, I want to echo what I said last month, that we appreciate the transparency that y'all are bringing forth to work with this current administration And we pledge to make sure that we are not paving the same streets, and that whatever you appropriate gets spent in the way it is supposed to be spent. So thank you for allowing us to be here. Thank you for allowing them to speak, or at least considering any questions I raise on their behalf. And we really appreciate it.
And I've tried to talk to some of them individually. I have not had the opportunity with you lately. You know, kind of the same thing when we put this list out last week. Several different people said, well, what about here? What here? And been trying to look at it, so.
I'd like to state before you make a motion on the second phase that we look at both of these lists combined. I know, I don't have any objection to
What we just
the
did.
the 750.
that's currently-
Yeah,
We'll
but
knock that one out.
Let's hold
Yeah.
that, and we might make the motion, but we might hold it, but let's just get on the table and talk about it. Okay.
We have a motion and a second. There's been some questions. Any further questions? If none, all in favor of taking these 11 streets and adding them as a change order to 1B?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
12 streets,
12 streets?
according to Chad.
11. Actually, it's 12, because it.
Well, when I.
It's 12, because
I wrote
one
it
got two on the same.
Okay.
And if I may, for the minutes, I will put in the minutes the name of those streets.
Okay.
For the minutes, we'll include the streets, we'll put that in the motion.
For the sake of the motion, to make the change order to 1B to add these streets. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Now then,
Motion carried.
can I ask, what does it take in order to convert that action, to get it to the council, to get it approved so that the engineer can tell Ag Camp to go at them? They've never turned down anything we've sent over there, so I don't anticipate that's gonna happen.
I would give a legal to do amendment to the contract. I don't know, I can't remember seeing the contract, Chad, but I think, is it per hour or is it per?
Now,
Is it?
his contract's per hour, but I'm talking about the Ag Camp is per unit ton and
Yeah, that's unit price.
unit price.
Unit price. So it will be, will it be a quantity adjustment?
Yeah,
or-
well, in the past, I will work up a change order, outline it, and I'll send it to you.
I'll send it to
You
legal.
Review and make sure you're good with it, and yeah, I think you can send it to Terry, I guess.
Yeah, we'll send it to legal, and then it'll get on the council agenda. We have enough time, about time they start, we have a meeting, we just had one this week, so
You can put it on.
we'll just put it on the next council agenda, and by that time, I guess you'll be in the area? Or-
Yeah, and, yeah, I'll get the change order worked up as quick as I can and get it to you.
Okay.
And then however it falls, it falls.
Okay.
Yeah, but they are in the area, and it would be better if it could move, you'd be on the next, agenda. If for some reason that's not it, then I'm sure that still, Ag Camp will still be able to work around it. but-
Well, they might want to hold off and being there and move
Yeah.
somewhere else. You know,
Okay.
who knows?
So either way, we'll get it worked out.
That's correct? Okay.
Yeah, we'll either get it at the second January meeting, realizing that deadline's short because there's a holiday Monday, or worst off, it'll be at the first February meeting. So we can make it happen that quickly as soon as you get it to us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll let Ag Camp know that's coming in case they need to adjust.
They did the same thing as long as we get it done. Out of part.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now then, I hear what you're saying, so I'm not ignoring, Lorenzo, what you said a minute ago. I'm gonna go ahead and make the motion to look at these so we can open for discussion about what's the best way to handle it. You know, and if anybody's got any other comments they want to add to or ask questions about what's on here and apply, can address them. I will say, there is some rhyme or reason to the order of them. It starts in South Jackson on the west side and goes across, then it makes another band and goes across. It's, looking at it on a map, it just goes, that's the order that they're on. I move that we obligate, this is pulling a number out of the air, $13 million to approve resurfacing these streets that are on this list distributed earlier, which will be an attachment to the minutes of the motion. That's the ones on here for Willowwood and Cedar Hills.
You had said when you were starting, and we were going over the
Yeah.
maps, that you had done just like an envelope assessment, but you never
No.
said what that number was.
Paul did one, and I will, because he's a lot smarter at this than I am. We had kind of a mileage of how many miles this
Okay.
is, and some of them are one-lane streets, some of them are, most of them are two, some are wide two, some are narrow two.
Yeah.
A couple of them are three, but there's an awful lot of them that are one and a half. I think you ended up just saying, let's call them all two-lane.
That was the way we ended up doing it. I got about 4 streets in, poking around on Google Street Maps, and I'd spend an hour and a half, and I was like, oh my gosh, I will never be done with this. Doing asphalt area and depth and all that stuff, and I was like, okay. So I just took his, if it was a yes, no, I think I could tell you
There
exactly
were
what my
a
form-
couple at the curb and gutter.
I put a couple formulas in there to try and get close on curb and gutter, and then I put a linear foot price on the curb. I put a square yards on the asphalt times a standard mill and overlay. I put a formula in there for the amount of milling, because it's not, if you don't have curb and gutter, you still gotta mill the tie-ins, and, you know, so there's a little bit of factor that you gotta have a formula for in there. And then, I was gonna see what we actually came up with.
You came up with the first list, which was 44 miles, $9.5 million, and you said, because of the unknowns, let's throw in $1 million. So I was operating from a $10.5 million number, if I remember right,
Okay.
from your first list. Since then, we added another 8 or 9 miles of streets. I used 10.5 divided by the 44 and multiplied by 55 and came up with 12.5. So that's why I'm saying 13 million now. But that did include those of Willowwood that we just put $700,000 in. Now, my intent would be that that 13 million is added to the 3.5 million that we approved in October and include all those that were down here into one $16.5 million appropriation for this list of both sets of lists. I mean, we approved the 3.5 for these other streets south of McClure Road. But no need to call it Phase 1A and 2A and 2B anymore, since nothing moved on 2A. So in the end, if we got too much money in there, that's fine, we can get rid of it. Once we go start getting pricing, if we need enough, we can come back and look at it again, or take out streets. But it's just to, in my intent, to get the process moving somewhere.
Starting point.
Now then,
Commissioner
Yeah.
Perry, and I apologize that I could not be there. I've got a hard stop here rolling up shortly. But for the net new items that you mentioned at the top of the presentation, have we gone through all of those? I know we talked about the neighborhood there between Fair Street and Lamar, but what were the other net new neighborhoods?
the net new neighborhoods, well, the Mount Helms Place, the area between what I call Mid-City, both sides of Bailey Avenue, south of Woodrow Wilson.
Okay.
That's a new area. The area around Rowan School, we did a few streets 10 years ago. We did a couple in 1C. So it's not a new, Fondren over around St. James Church is a new area that we've not done anything. There's a Druid Hill, there's a something out off of, out West Jackson. Old Dixon was a new area. Whispering Pines, Flowers Park, Hemingway Circle. Frankly, everything over in Eastover and Sheffield, the Eastover Sheffield area is new. We have not done anything there in 10 years, so there's a good bit over there. Northwest Hills is new. Land of Pines is new. There's a lot of work on Manhattan Road everywhere from Meadowbrook all the way up to Cedars, Lebanon, and some area around there. So all that's new. Sugarloaf up in Northeast Jackson, east of the old Colonial Country Club. So So all that's new area.
Okay.
Most of it is new area. Most of what we talk about in here is in new areas.
I just wanted it recited for the record. Thank you.
Yeah. Now then, Lorenzo, you said, suggesting that we hold off on it until we figure out what's going on with the bond money and the plans and streets there. Is that what you're?
Right, the bond, the county projects, well, we already know CCI, but any other projects that's going to overlap or just a overall comprehensive street.
From the county right now, what Supervisor Dixon is going to do, I've already got a list of. I've got an update of what they've done and added to here. And there are about 4 streets she has on that she had at the January board meeting. And so I've incorporated that into what we're looking at. Districts 2 and 5 don't appear to be planning on doing anything inside the city. The attitude is they don't do anything in the city. That's not to say that they won't, but I've not heard anything. Robert Graham has not got anything on right now, but that might happen, but find out what he's gonna do would be worthwhile. But, I don't think there's a lot of the county. I think what the bond money is the significant part. And we know what CCI, where they are, and this doesn't touch what CCID is looking at right now.
Okay. And we're looking probably around 40, 45 miles too, just like this project, so.
All right, so, I'm okay with waiting until February to actually approve something, because I don't think anything's going to happen with it between that. What I would like to know is how the city intends to proceed with these. Same thing as with what you're going to do with the Millet. Are y'all looking at doing big contracts like 1A, B, and C, or doing term bids, or a combination, or has that been decided? Do we know what it's going to take to go from, here's the money, here's the streets, getting it paved, how do we get from one point to the other?
First, once we finalize the streets, to get the design completed, which it shouldn't, I think probably a month or 2. So by the spring, and then we're looking probably to bid it out like phases, probably 3 or 4, depending on clusters. I would say clusters, like I want to say wards, but if it's a cluster,
we need clusters, 1A and 1B and 1C.
Right, a cluster, for mobilization purposes, but make sure it's a big enough project we get contractors that want to bid on it.
So a lot of this will fit that. Some of it would fit much better with the term bid because it's just one little spot. There are some places where there's one little spot and it's not close to anything, which might be more conducive to a term bid. A lot of it would be like we did, 1A, B, and C, that you could draw a cluster around it. That area that goes from Brooklyn all the way up to McClure Road, Lost Lake and all that could be a cluster. So, but that's your intent right now, is to look at doing clusters and bids.
Right, but I'm a visual person, so I love the map that you produce, and once I see on this map, I'm gonna take a ride and look at the list that's active now and look and see, it overlaid, because I don't know how you remember all these streets off the top of your head, but I gotta actually look at it on the map.
What I'd be glad to do, now, I'll offer to do, if you'll give me the list of what y'all have on the bond, I'll put that on this map in another color.
Okay.
I'm glad you offered. I was going to ask. I'm glad you offered.
Okay.
Oh, well, Nathan said he'd be good. Nathan's a technology person.
No, I'm not.
But no, I'll be glad to go add them on here,
And then we can discuss.
and then you
okay.
can see what, now, that's what we did when we saw the Mill Street list before. It wasn't on the map, they gave us a list, and I went and
Yeah.
drew it on the map.
Okay.
That's what I'd love to see. I'm with you, Lorenzo, just
I
to
mean,
make
if we
sure
could,
that there's.
if we could put them together, would be great. I just hadn't
had.
been able to see that
Okay.
list.
Do you think there's any overlap of streets that you've identified?
sure there will
that would
be.
Yeah, I'm pretty
So
sure
that's
it
what we-
is, yeah.
There's no way there's not some, and the easy answer to that would be, here's, what we did with the last bond issue money, when I finally sat down with the IMS folks, and we said, well, hey, look, y'all are doing this and we're doing it too. Why don't we go ahead and do it, because we're doing all these others, but
You go somewhere else.
y'all are doing some work up here, and we got one little isolated road, y'all gotta do that one.
Right.
And so we moved them around when we took that map that we had then, which was a hand-drawn map. that I got left in.
Much better.
And we're looking at deeper on some of the roads that we have, like the curb and gutter, like
Yeah.
Paul did, like, yes.
Yeah.
We wanna, be too, I guess, passive, or, we don't be too aggressive on our numbers, on estimating, because we don't want to get the same boat
Yeah.
where we have to add all this curb and gutter, and we're out of money.
Well, one thing is y'all got.
Conservative, I would say.
You got a limited amount of money, you got what the bond issue allows.
Right, yeah, it is what it is, so.
Let's make sure it covers it all.
I would ask that you consider adopting what this commission adopted, that said when we're doing a major street and you're crossing a street, that you go into the cross street back 20 or 30 feet, because
Right.
that's where a lot of the wear and tear is, and it's been a good policy, and I would like to see consideration towards keeping that. But yeah, the curb and gutter, y'all have to deal with that as you deal with it.
Okay.
So do we have a motion?
We got a motion, but I am going to put my motion on hold until the
Table.
next meeting. Table it, whatever the right word is.
Table.
Motion is tabled until the next meeting. No further discussion, all right. We've got here status of other projects.
Is this, like the MPO project?
MPO,
Okay.
what's going on with MPO?
All right, so, the MPO application is due toward the end of the month. We do have 2 projects, and let me know, I didn't know if the 1% has the first phase already obligated, Woodrow Wilson from I-55 to Mill Street where we're in.
We had $2 million, we paid about $900,000 on engineering.
This what happened.
We had approved a long time ago $1 million, then we approved it, raised it to $2 million. We have taken that, when the city sent the money back, after being harassed, hounded, whatever the right word was, we de-obligated that $2 million because that project was no longer around. I think we are poised and ready to obligate money again when it comes back up, if we get MPO funded, that what we needed then would be looked at, but right now, the obligated amount does not include anything.
Okay, so, in our application, we're gonna ask for, I just handed out a sheet, $8,094,330. We're asking for, I know initial was $2 million. Based on from the old numbers, we're gonna ask for $2,373,000 obligation from the
Are you
1%.
talking about a total of $4,200,000 or a total of $2 million?
Total $2 million, we'll take the $4 million, but.
No, no.
So we're asking for
Just
two.
from Woodrow Wilson.
Wait, if
Yeah.
your estimate is 8 point something, and you're asking MPO for 4.6, it looks to me like you're still needing $4 million.
Because we've withdrawn the previous authorization, so he's right, you're asking for 4.
Okay, we're asking for 4.
You're the city's gonna be requiring a 4 point something million dollar match.
Okay.
Now,
that's
we'd
what
be
we're
glad to
asking
put
for.
up 2 million if you got the other 2 million from somewhere else.
Oh, no.
Why just out of curiosity, what was the reason about asking for 4.6 rather than 5.2 or 7.3? I mean, how did we come up with how much we're asking MPO for?
We took the previous, estimate, I think we have this here. It was $7 million, $7,676,000. And, just asking really for the same project. I think
Let me just understand how you got to the 8 point something million dollar estimate. How did you choose how much to ask MPO for? Because we can ask for up to 80%. It looks like you're asking for 53% or something.
we're still going through the application phase right now, so.
No, but the application phase has to say how much you're asking.
But you haven't applied, you haven't sent it in yet, though.
No, I haven't sent it in
I'll send it
yet.
in.
Ask for the
Do you
math.
have,
Don't ask for the
do you have council authority already?
unofficially, but
No, I'm saying you haven't gone through the process.
no.
But you, because you have to, you have to have a resolution that says, we're asking for X, we agree to match with Y.
Okay.
And those numbers are in that resolution. So I
Oh,
think,
okay.
I think what Pete's saying is if, rather than asking the 1% for $4.3 million, go for a bigger number. Let's just say it's $8 million. Go ask MPO for six.
Okay.
And then that leaves 25%. That gives you a little bit of bump instead of, you're not at the minimum matching that the city could do. And then that leaves 2%, I mean, 2 million for the 1% to fund. I don't know if that's what.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking, and my question is, I know that smart people that deal with the MPO all the time know you can play with that number. If it's 6, it means your rating, you're gonna get 86 points, but if it's 5.9, you might get 88 points on your scoring. That you can look at, there's a,
Right.
The more you match, the better your score?
not automatically.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, there's a point, you get a score.
Yeah.
You might cut you might double your match and your score doesn't change. You might change your match by 1% and it does change.
There are these little kind of trip
There are things that
levels.
trip-
Tiers.
Yeah, there's tiers, right? And so you trip from one to the next at a certain point, and when you know what that is, it's all transparently out there in the formula. So you can put the formula in there and see what your score will be. But, yeah, so if you were going to do, and this would be for surface transportation stuff, I just think you're a lot, it sounds like 2 million is a lot more of a reasonable ask from the 1% than 4,
I think.
4.6.
I think we've been looking at having to put 4 in, we've been looking at having to put 5 in to fix it under the old program.
Right.
And it needs to be done. I'm not saying that 4 is an unreasonable ask here, but if there's, my question, and we never got these questions answered by the old folks at Public Works, because they just did and then told us about it afterwards, so I'm glad we're at least getting the chance to discuss. Is there a magic reason why they asked for 4.6 rather than asking for 6.4?
Right.
I mean, if the likelihood of it being approved is the same to ask them for 6 as it is for 4, I'd rather ask them for 6.
If,
Just,
after further research, it does fall in that tier that we're not, it's not any point benefit, I would say, that, difference between 4 and 2 million. That's a pretty large tier, I would say, but.
I think you're going to get some penalty for that, right?
You'll probably
Because
get a penalty
The bigger,
because from 4
bigger
to
part of the
6.
pot you ask, the more they hit your score.
but
right?
you might not get a penalty if you go from 4.6 to 5.3.
That's right.
Right.
You want to max right before you go.
You
over
might
the-
max to here. I think, I'm asking that we do what Paul is suggesting and say, figure out what's the most we can maximize getting from them is. The fact that we've already spent $800,000 on engineering, which they ought to look at, and it's ready to go, it can be done right now, is all big pluses to it. There is the outside chance we still could get the $750,000 from MDOT that they agreed to 8 years ago for adding that third lane that this plan does include. But we don't have to deal with that now. Let's get the application in, then if MDOT will give us that $750, we'll still go get it and reduce what 1% has to do. But I would, it's not our call to make, but I would ask, since you're asking us for money to match it, that we look at seeing how we can maximize what we're
If you
asking
can
them
make a
for.
motion to give us a max, and we can report to you in our application process that if you say, a max of $5 million, we can say, well, and report to the commission that, hey, when we put our application in, we found out we don't get any more benefit in that formula, and we may say, hey, we're gonna say it's $4 million, or
If it's-
3.4.
If it's big, well, yes, as low as 3.4, we might all look at changing the project. But, I would say, right now, the resolution that you gotta have that goes with the application comes from the council, not from us. We can sit in and approve anything all day long. I think the council could be rest assured that we're prepared to sit here and provide a match for the MPO money to get that project done, because it needs to be done. But we would hope that the city maximize what they can get from MPO to make a very viable, good application. Is that
I totally agree. What y'all know about the finances of the 1% is I mean.
Yeah, but you know more about the application process.
That's right. I mean, but the city is, what they're doing when they make that resolution is that they're saying they have that local fund, that local match amount available. And I think what they need to know is how much of that local match fund can come from the 1%.
They've never bothered to ask us that ahead of time before.
Well, I don't, yeah.
They go ahead and make the resolution and say they're gonna get it from us. And if they don't get it from us, they've got modernization tax and others. They can pass that resolution all day long because they've done it and gotten away with it. I think we're gonna be willing to fund it.
What, Pete,
I don't-
wasn't, Old Canton Road in consider, weren't we?
That's another one. That's the county application. When it gets through this, that's a separate deal. County's applying for that. And we told the county we'd like to, that we would be willing to consider cost sharing if they got an MPO grant for Old Canton Road and they pay part of it, we
Did
pay
we
part
pay
of it.
some engineering already on that too?
We paid the $1 million to get the engineering done.
Okay.
And given that information to the county to use for making their application. But they can apply for that. And informal conversations, and I think they've also had them with, after mine originally, with the administration about, they're gonna apply for it. They'll pay part of the match, we'll pay part of the match. If they get it approved, then we'll have that to deal with too. We've got the money to match it.
Right.
We got the money to match the other end of it. Because we're getting $1 million a month. By next month, we'll have another $1 million. By the time this gets approved by MPO and it gets here, we'll have grown $4 or $5 million there. We'll have de-obligated some other. So it's not a question that the council has to worry about having the money. You know, but the issue is, same question we asked earlier about why we never included the CNI money when MPO will match it in what we requested from it. So, you know, mine is just a simple, where did that 4.6 number originate from? That's what we asked
I think,
MPO.
just to put a number to it, if, you know, the original authorization was 2 million. If it's somewhere in that ballpark, I don't think this commission will have any issue doing that. I mean, give or take.
But the original authorization was $785
Well, I know,
in 2017.
I know, but-
But that was a while back.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to be upfront, like,
No,
you know,
thank you.
in the application,
Sure.
so I don't want to stay obligated from the commission without talking to the commission.
Yeah, the commissions, I think the commission, nobody's going to disagree that we're willing to put the money in there.
We just want to get the road paved so we can stop talking about it.
Okay.
Yeah, and just one final thing on that. If you will call Leslie Callender, she will talk you through the process
Yeah, I talked.
of how you can maximize the attractiveness of this application.
Right.
And so, and if, now, the best application would be asking for $2 million, but we don't want to do that. I mean, there's a lowest amount of money.
No, that's right, but if she says, you know, you say, hey, we think we need $8 million to do this project, what's the most we can get out of the MPO?
And be competitive.
Leslie's gonna be able to tell you that,
Yeah,
right off,
right.
because she's the one who guides that whole process of rating the
And
project.
if that number's 6.2, or if it's 5.7, or if it's 5.89 and 1.3, I
still
don't
support
care.
it.
I think we just
Yeah.
ought to look for
Let's get as much as you can.
the most
We
we
want to
can.
maximize it. That's
Okay.
That's my only question. Okay.
Mr.
all.
Chairman,
Without you being penalized.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, can I have our request? Can we
Yes.
expedite the remainder of this meeting?
Yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
I think we have,
What is this other one on here, though?
That's a question, this is a traffic study. Does the 1%?
We can't do it.
Okay.
We can't fund studies.
Okay. Can you fund any kind of traffic-related infrastructure?
If it's building a project, we can do it. But if it's just we have done it, it's been done, questionable legal, we did that drainage study that nobody even knows where it is or what it says, and paid $395,000. But
Okay.
that was when we didn't have much say-so in what was being done. But no, if it's just a study,
I think so.
we can't fund it because it's not a project.
Okay.
I'm not objecting to the fact that you're applying for it, it's just that don't look for matching
we
funds from
can't
here.
provide the match.
Okay. That's fine. This is what we're applying for.
Yeah, gotcha.
And we may be thinking about, I haven't got the confirmation on Main Street Bridge, you know, that's recently.
Yeah.
Around $5 million, so, just like the Woodrow Wilson, it's something that we'll have the resolution and then probably update, because I know the commission has already obligated like $900,000 in the past.
We
for
obligated $900,000 to the engineering. They
Right.
paid $385,000 They de-obligated 500,000, and then the other day we de-obligated 3,000, which is the balance.
Right, so I
But
just.
that was to do the engineering, and then for some reason, the city backed out of doing the project altogether.
Right. But I haven't confirmed it, so,
Yeah,
Just bring it back when you can.
yeah.
okay.
Old Canton Road, the county is applying for that. Last I've heard, I asked Robert about it. He says they're doing it, it's underway. Y'all might know more about Old Canton than I do, but that's, hopefully they're.
Do we have any other project updates from the city?
No, sir.
Okay. We already talked about proposed
Yeah,
neighborhood
we
streets.
did that, yeah.
Okay. We're at the end of our agenda. Any other business?
I have one quick question.
Yes.
Jonathan was on here a minute, he obviously dropped. He said to tell you all bye, thank you. We both serve on the Foundation for Mississippi Department of Archives and History. The street that is in front of the History Museum, the Civil Rights Museum, and then what's going to be the park where Eudora Welty Library used to be, you know, they use it as a festival street. They've asked about bollards, how to put it up, not asking the city to pay for it, not asking 1% to pay for it. What is the process? Who do the archives need to talk to get that approved? It doesn't seem like a big ask. Just the ability to lock it down for traffic when they have festivals, when they have concerts.
Removable bollards, that you can drive through there today, but tomorrow when there's a.
They just
festival,
need
you
to,
Up and down, yeah.
they need to send a written request over here to the
Is that
mayor
it?
or myself.
Okay.
We would need to put that on the council agenda. I don't see that being any
I don't
problem
either. Okay.
Bill,
whatsoever.
And Bellhaven has got that request in, it's been approved.
I figured they had us, because that's why I was going to bring it up.
If you ask,
Yeah.
ask her, she'll give you the forms about how you do it.
And we're looking at doing the same thing for Kings Highway where that taste is.
Yes.
As well, so yeah, just send it in because we're dealing with several of those right now.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. Any other business?
One quick one. We approved in October those streets down there off of High Street behind the Taco Bell pad. The car dealerships have just spent like $8 million renovating both dealerships. At the end of February, all the top execs from Honda and Subaru and all those are gonna be here for a grand opening, along with car dealers from all over the southeast. Any way to get those streets paved between us? It doesn't require, there's no curb and gutter except on the first 200 feet of it. If there's any way to get that moving, but so it would be done ahead of that, it'd be kind of like what we did for the folk festival and getting those streets down here. Granted, this is not nearly as big as a folk festival, but they are going to have an awful lot of car execs and people in here, and it's a big tax revenue to have 2 car dealerships in there. So the same question about how do we move from approving the money to getting it done. If there's a way to move that, I would like to encourage the city.
Because we did approve all the money.
We approved,
Yes.
well, you know, I kind of throw it in with the same money we approved for phase 2 or whatever. The money is there, and if it takes $325,000, we can come up with the difference. I mean, that's not an issue. But we approved the money because the $300,000 is just reaching up and grabbing
Yeah.
it's 2 miles of streets, or a mile and a half or something. But the money's approved and it's ready, and it's just a matter of going.
Where
to-
was this, where, this need to be?
It was October.
No, we did approve is what he was
Okay.
No,
saying.
you're asking when the meeting with the executives
Wait a
is?
Oh.
It was either September or October.
No.
Oh, when
When are they
they
coming?
The grand
I'll
opening.
look it up. It's the last week of February. I'll
Okay,
check the
okay.
date and see. I just got a text from,
We have about a month and a half.
yeah.
Okay.
And it's simple work on the streets except in the northwest corner. And the city might want to take a look at this, Paul. You might, the northwest corner has a real rough area. There's a real drainage problem with water coming down from Bellhaven Heights through, that floods into the energy building down through there. And that street's pretty much washed out. There's a car repair shop on the north end, one of them, HVAC. Neither one of them worry about that street except for waiting for those semis that come in to be able to keep on going around. They said they wouldn't care if that little corner was gravel. Right. So it doesn't have, it's got some major base repair. If you don't want to spend all the money to do the base repair, they said as long as my semi truck that comes in can unload, can keep on going around, they're okay with that. There is a drainage issue there, part of it's because the ditches are all full up, and whenever there's a heavy rain, energy gets flooded.
I'll take a look at it. We could probably, I probably just, when I go out there, I could give you a call.
Okay, yeah, I can do it, it's right down, but it's, come in there by the Taco Bell and it's all the way back there, it's going that little,
You can ride your bike and meet him.
I can.
Yeah, right down the hill. Now going back, maybe a little steeper.
Yeah, I don't, yeah.
But Graymont's downhill, so, right, yeah.
All right, would you entertain a motion to adjourn?
Yes, sir.
would.
All right.
Second?
Okay, you already good.
All right.
Thank you.